Just 1 year ago, Josh Rosen was looked at as a future star quarterback in the NFL. After a down rookie season and a new head coach in Arizona, rumors have started to float around that the Cardinals are going to make Kyler Murray, not Josh Rosen, their future. If Kyler Murray is the answer for the Cardinals at number 1 overall, does Arizona trade the Rosen one? Here are 5 potential trade destinations for Josh Rosen. But first, Gronk spike that like button and subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more NFL. Before I dive into the trade destinations for Josh Rosen, I need to discuss what kind of player I believe him to be at this moment. He's smart. He's an accurate passer. He's a pocket quarterback. And he has a good presence within the pocket. Yes, he lacks mobility. Yes, he is perceived as immature. But to me, Josh Rosen, at only 22 years of age, still has a lot of potential that we haven't uncracked yet. We haven't really found out what this Josh Rosen is all about. He was just picked 10th overall in last year's draft. Yeah, he had a terrible rookie season, and that's why he's on the block. That's why the Cardinals may be looking to go in a different direction. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns last year, but that doesn't mean he's terrible. We've seen quality, Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Troy Aikman have miserable rookie seasons and go on to become legends. Let's get into the 5 destinations that I believe would trade for Josh Rosen. Let's start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals right now, they have Andy Dalton. He's been their quarterback for 8 seasons. And yeah, Dalton didn't play bad last season, but he did get hurt. And honestly, Bengals fans, isn't it time for Andy Dalton to go? Hasn't he run his course? I'm not saying Andy Dalton is a bad quarterback, but 8 seasons, and he hasn't really given you out of this world production. It might be time to move on to a new chapter at quarterback. I know Zach Taylor said Andy Dalton is his guy, but even if that's the case for this season, why not trade for Josh Rosen? And if it doesn't work out in the Andy Dalton department this season, we could go right to Josh Rosen after a season of sitting on the bench, being the backup and learning from a quarterback like Andy Dalton. Now, Zach Taylor is going to implement the Sean McVay offensive system, being that he is from the Rams. That's what the Bengals hired him to do. I believe that Josh Rosen could run that system. I believe he does have a similar skill set to Jared Goff. Maybe he's not as mobile outside the pocket, but he's an accurate passer. He can throw the ball down the field. He can make the right decisions. And I think in that type of scheme, he could definitely benefit. The Bengals do have the 11th overall pick in the first round, but will all the top 3 quarterbacks go before they can pick? That's the question. Maybe they'll be able to snatch a guy like Drew Lock if they really like what he has to offer. But I don't believe that Haskins or Murray will be there for him. So it's really up to the Bengals to make their decision. And I really don't think Rosen is going to cost all that much. So do you go with Rosen or do you draft a quarterback of the future? As for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they don't have a quarterback. The Blake Bortles era, it's over, thankfully. But they're at the top of the list to sign Nick Foles. So how does that really work in the scheme of things when it comes to Josh Rosen? Well, if they want to go with a quarterback who's going to cost them significantly less than a guy like Nick Foles, and then be able to add to the depth of their defense, be able to add to their receiving core, to their offensive line, they can go with Josh Rosen. He's only 22 years old, so he's there for the future if you truly believe in his skill set. He's cost controlled, he's very cheap, he's on a rookie contract, and he's not going to be a salary cap bind. He's going to be a guy that is going to cost you basically nothing. So even if Josh Rosen doesn't work out, you could potentially draft a quarterback in next year's draft and go from there. But by signing Nick Foles, you pretty much put yourself in a corner. If he doesn't work out, you're screwed. So the Jaguars, while I think they're going to go with Nick Foles, and I don't think that's a bad decision because they have the roster to win now, Josh Rosen, if he does work out, that would probably be the way to go. The Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, they have Ryan Tannehill, but he's no longer going to be their guy. He might get released straight up, or he could be the backup. They have a new head coach, Brian Flores. They have a new offensive coordinator, Chad O'Shea. He runs the Patriots system. Josh Rosen is a smart, accurate pocket quarterback who I believe could operate within that system. They might pick a quarterback in this year's draft. The only thing is they have the 13th overall pick. And if you're looking at this draft, I don't really think there's going to be a quarterback available at that spot. Maybe Locke is available there, or they're going to have to trade up and use assets to do that, or they're going to have to pick a quarterback later on. So what do they do at the quarterback position? Assuming Nick Foles goes somewhere else, assuming that the quarterbacks aren't there of their choosing, do you go with the Josh Rosen, make that trade for potentially a second or a third round pick, or do you go out there and just keep Ryan Tannehill? I don't know. They have many holes to fill, so we'll see what the Dolphins do. The New York Giants, Eli Manning, he is absolutely, positively done. Stick a fork in him. Josh Rosen, I think, might be better now. He might be better right now. Number 6 in the draft, that could be Haskins, potentially. There's the rumor floating around that they want to go that way. Why not go with a guy like Josh Rosen? If this is Eli Manning's last year, and if this is his last run, just play it out with Eli Manning. Let Josh Rosen sit behind a guy like Eli Manning. Use that number 6 pick on a defensive player to upgrade your defense because you need it, and get Josh Rosen for a cheaper price. If you really don't believe Haskins is the guy, why not trade for Josh Rosen? Similar type of quarterback to Eli Manning, and I don't think it would be much of a drop-off, if any, from going from Eli to Rosen. This could also affect the Odell deal. Would you want to keep Odell there if you do bring in a young quarterback like Rosen? We'll see. The New England Patriots, they need a Brady successor eventually. They have the most picks of anyone in the entire NFL draft. They have 12. 3 in the first 2 rounds, 32nd, 56th, and 64th. They don't have a lot of pressing needs, which is the biggest reason why I believe they could make this move. Because they don't have a lot of big needs, because they don't have a lot of positions to fill, this could allow them the mobility to make a move on a quarterback for the future. The only thing is, Brady is planning to play until 45. So it may make Rosen not a great plan to be the future, because if Rosen's going to be the future, he's going to be sitting on the bench for a couple of more seasons, and that's not really going to sit well with either Josh Rosen or the salary cap, because Rosen's contract's going to be up by the time Brady retires, so it doesn't really make sense there. But if anyone pulls this move off, it could be Bill Belichick. Let me know where you guys believe Josh Rosen will end up. If Kyler Murray does go to the Cardinals, he is very likely to be traded. Comment below where you want him to go, where you think he's going to go, and your thoughts on this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and Gronk spike that like button. It's Mitch. Peace out.